Alright, well, hello there and welcome back to our tutorial series on Pike and Shot campaigns and of course the Pike and Shot base game. So we're doing tutorial number 2, and just before we continue, be sure to like and subscribe for following videos on Pike and Shot if you've enjoyed the series so far. So let's begin. Right, so this is kind of the part where the game gets a little bit more complex. Today we are playing as, I believe, the Catholic force, and we're going up against, in whatever kind of period this is, against some sort of band of Transylvanian troops. Right, so let's begin. So this time we have the option of picking out a few troops to augment our forces with, and just kind of taking a look at our own forces. Let's walk through the line and let's see what we have. So, on our flanks, we have, these arquebusier troops. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that horrendously wrong. And, these are skirmish cavalry. They're effective against foot infantry by kind of softening them up with a few barrages of carbines and all that. And then we have some of these cuirassiers armed with pistols, useful for, again, going up against cavalry, but that's kind of the end of their purpose. And we have some of these later Turkish squares, which are, again, the backbone of our army. Good for melee, good for ranged combat, largely made out of muskets, relative to most things, however. So that is kind of our troop at a glance. And, the game doesn't kind of tell us here, but we're going up against a fixed position filled with enemy infantry and cannons and a few cavalry units on the side. So that said, I am going to buy, let's see, perhaps a mix of... I could go with some of these arquebusiers to deal with the infantry, but you know what? I think I'll go with some more cuirassiers and to see whether or not I can do some damage with them. Right, so there we go. Welcome to episode 2. So this battle will be kind of an application of what we learned the first battle. Alright, so it'll go through some of the blurbs again. And this is the enemy force. They have some medium guns, as we've seen. They do a lot of damage, provided that targets are in range and, kind of well within firing conditions. They have some unique infantry in the sense that they have these head-up infantry. So these guys are musketeers. They're not, say, pike and shot squares. They're more or less line infantry, making them susceptible to cavalry charges. But at the same time, they don't really do too much if they're in open ground. So yeah, they're very safe behind the barricades, however. Now, they have two types of cavalry units here. They have their boyars over here, so lancers. We can open up the panel and take a look at these guys. So, these guys are pretty good against other type of mounted units, except heavy lancers and units with pistol. And they're also pretty good against foot infantry for the impact portion. I would imagine that for melee here, from the looks of it, once they used up their lances, they switched to pistols. So again, pretty good against melee troops. So these guys will pose quite a threat to our our cavalry. But nevertheless, I think we have the upper hand there. And in addition to that, they have some hussars, which are carbine-armed units. Again, skirmishers, more likely to be used against infantry than anything here, as our cavalry would be able to deal with them pretty easily. So, my plan for the scenario, and I've worked this out already, is that I'm going to get our cavalry, or I'm going to get our infantry to break away from the center post. I'm going to get them to try to go around the flanks, kind of render the fortifications useless, and to move up through there. So, in the meantime, I'm going to get our cavalry to advance, and again, keeping track of kind of frontage where they're turning is critical here. I'm going to get them to move to the very sides, get them to try to get away from shooting distance, and I want them to make an advance like such. Now, in the meantime, I really want to get them to pick off the cavalry and to hopefully sweep behind that line for the most part. Right, so the cannon batteries here will put down some fire. They might be a little bit more lethal than usual, because one of the things is that if the cannon fires upon the flanks of our squares, they do slightly more damage as a bit of a flanking bonus or penalty for us, really. So right, that's one thing. The main thing is we just slowly chug along here with our infantry units. All they have to do is just support the cavalry. And afterwards, I think what we do here is we switch it so that we get the bulk of the heavy cuirassiers against cavalry to face the front. We keep the skirmish cavalry towards the back. And one of the things that you might have noticed is that I'm avoiding, say for example, forested tiles and the such like that. And this is because, I mean, it is during this time it's pretty damn difficult to actually turn your units or to keep formation inside cities and inside forested areas. So that's kind of why they enjoyed fighting, where they more often than not fought on these clear fields, with the exception of skirmish units. And the thing is that, yeah, while those built-up areas, they do give us a benefit, it's not worth going into them because it does disrupt our forces. And as we've seen, disruption causes a ton of, combat reduction, if you will. So that's one thing. I want our guests to continue to trek along, hopefully get outside of the full range of these cannons. And I think it'll be time to start up a few charges here. So let's take a look at combat power. Our guys are 181, 66 armor, fairly tough. The Boyars will present a challenge with 72. The Hussars will not at 88. Make the charge, hit them with the pistols, disrupt them immediately. That unit is gonna fall back. So yeah, cavalry can do that. They can fall back. Which is for their benefit. I'm just going to keep charging them, keep putting up pressure. Don't let the lancers really get any sway inside this area. And oh, they're going to react to our move. That's fine. We're going to continue to pursue them, try to disrupt them, and hopefully reduce their combat power to nil. So over there, things look pretty good. Let's see what we can do over here. I want to front my cavalry through, like that. I want these guys to move, to turn, to face any potential charge that may come about over there. And lastly, okay, so they're going to put down some fire. That's fine. The melee continues. Yeah, and like it says, our cavalry with them are above, where they're about equal. So we'll just see how things go on this front. Really see what they do. And there we go. Right. So what I see here is that the infantry, the Boyar infantry with the Haldiks over here. They recognize that their fortifications, they're not really doing too much use. I mean, we're just kind of ignoring them. So they're moving them there. They've reacted over here, getting their cavalry to face our guys. I want our people to turn and face them. And I want to see whether or not we can flank them at any point in time. And now, ideally, I would like to start these charges, then, say, be on the receiving end of them. So yeah, here's what I mean by it's quite difficult to turn your units. That little 360 turn took the entirety of our movement points. So yeah, it's quite costly. Our units here have the option to shoot, so we will get them to fire on whatever targets are available to them. And this is more so because I want them to. There's no real good charge here, so I won't do it. Because I want to, again, try to disrupt them, try to always roll for that whenever possible. And we'll get our people to stay at range, move around the sides like that. Right, so they're coming at us with disrupted units. We'll just charge them, fragment them like that. They'll fall back, but they'll break eventually if they keep doing that. Yeah, and that one actually locked into combat, which is pretty good. Over here, this might be a move that will disrupt them, or maybe not. Okay, that's fair. But nevertheless, pretty good. So the battle continues. And And one of the things I haven't mentioned is that the reason kind of why I don't necessarily care too much about the losses for these Turco squares is because they're actually made out of 1,000 men, so we're approximately 1,000 men, so it doesn't actually hurt us that much. In reality, they were as big as almost 300. I don't know. Looks like the natural flow of battle here had some bad consequences for us. So our troops pursued a broken enemy unit. Unfortunately, they had some hussars right kind of near the pass of our charge, right? And they managed to charge us in the flank, fragmented our units. But overall, things are still pretty good here, so we'll see. Right, so the battle continues. So let's see, they have one unit broken, we have some cuirassiers here. 25 combat power going up against 85, so we'll have to deal with that soon enough. And over here, it looks like these units can't move. These guys can move. Let's get them to charge. Keep putting pressure on these guys. Hopefully break them. And over here, let's see, what should we do? The fire. Yeah, that works too. One thing that I haven't had the chance to take note of is whether or not those troops that kind of pursue off the map ever return. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but yeah, I've never seen them return. Then again, typically at that point, battles are often kind of already decided. Right, so we'll move up the forces, take up a few more shots, and again, try to disrupt these guys as best as possible, if we can. Right, and for now, I want to get the upper hand on these lancers, so I will charge them. I will try to deal some blows to them first, before they can do anything to our forces. And again, I'm going to double up on that. And over here, I'm going to charge, get into, hopefully, no, not a flanking attack, but nevertheless, something that I can lock them up for quite some time. And the hussars and these guys can face it off on even terms, so that's pretty good. Alright, so this will be quite the interesting melee round. Ah, there you go. So we got quite a nice roll there. Our dual melee worked and managed to disrupt that blob. Managed to push him back. And the rest of the front over there, at least, is still pretty indecisive. A fragmented unit didn't break over here. Pretty good. Ah, and this is good too. They're starting to expose some of their Haddock infantry from that fortification. Perfect. Another disruption. Okay, back on our turn. Let's see what we can do here. So we're still in a bit of trouble over here. These guys won't be able to fire on any infantry, but I hope to sweep them around soon enough. So over here, let's get these people to advance. Turn, because I want them to assist the other pack of cuirassiers. Do some firing over here. That volley was actually pretty effective. Not bad. That's right, these units are only half at half numbers compared to ours, so, you know, another kind of an innate advantage there. Not bad at all. Get our forces to fire. They're fragmented, they're very weak. We can't charge, eh? Yeah, we'll make this charge, sure. Right, so that one might not be, say, optimal, but I think it'll be good. That should break. That should put a lot of pressure on those units. Okay, overall we're still in a pretty good shape. Perfect. And right, so these cuirassiers, because the Haddock infantry here, they really don't have any answer, seeing as how they're only made out of muskets. And bear in mind, at this time they would have to peg the muskets to put a bayonet on them. So they are extremely weak against those cavalry charges, so that is really, really good. So they'll continue pushing there. In the meantime, we need to rotate these two squares immediately. Would you look at that? You got 3 people chasing them, and that unit is about to break. Okay, so overall, pretty good along the front. Right, we'll see whether or not we can do anything to space things up again. Put some fire on that. Perfect. Some disruption going there. Okay, so one of our blocks are disrupted, one of theirs are disrupted. Flank attack, good. That'll be a nice easy battle one. That'll also be a nice easy battle one. Over here, none of these cavalry units are probably going to shift their positions. They do make cannon fodder for our infantry turning. Not that, you know, that's a big deal or anything. So we'll see what happens. And like I said earlier, battles at the time were sluggish. So I mean, as you probably have noticed, probably maybe not explicitly, for the past few turns we've been just kind of riding along decisions we made earlier inside the game, because that's really how these battles work. Yeah, so there's that. Yeah, I would rather like control of our cavalry over here once again. Don't think that'll happen though. There we go, that's what I like to see. Perfect, even better. Right. One of the things about these fortifications is that they give, I think, around 66% of a bonus to the defender in terms of just the amount of damage that they take. But the other thing is that they disrupt any units kind of moving through them. So that said, this charge seems to work pretty well in the sense that it didn't seem to trigger that. That might just be kind of because we made a automatic charge, which is quite nice. So I hope that carries out in the future. And as you see here, our troop rallied. I think this is just kind of a passive thing each turn for that. Very, very good. Put down some shots over here. And we have a high chance at disrupting that unit next. Our cavalry are losing the one of the side battles here. It's not great, but then again, we are 52% out of the 60% needed to win the day. Come on. Okay. There we go. It's another unit broken. Fragmented, that unit will break very soon. This is a bit of a stalemate. And over here, this unit needs to be supported immediately. Right, so we'll wheel them and we'll see whether or not we can get them to fight soon enough. Over here, Haudux in the back are tied up by our cavalry. Guys in the front are still steady, but we'll see what we can do. These guys, I'm going to get them to turn around and get ready for a charge. They still have, yeah, they've only taken 50 casualties. Very, very light. Would you look at that? So I'm not terribly sure as to when those auto breaks happen, but it's a good thing that that happened. Nevertheless, we are well over the 60% margin, so I believe at some point during the turn sequencing here, we just simply win. Yep, there we go. From the looks of it, one unit rallied on the side of the map there. Right, so I hope this has been a helpful demonstration of Pike and Shot here. I suppose we'll be back for episode 3, and I think there's 5 tutorials in total soon enough, so I hope to see you guys there. And once again, be sure to like and subscribe for more Pike and Shot and similar titles.